I got this boat. You guys have seen the boat. I've had it for about a year now. Haven't really done a ton of videos with it yet, but here it is, the 17-foot side console Polarcraft. We put a wrap on it. There's a video of that and some other stuff that we've done, the trolling motor. But what I want to do, I've taken the windshield off here. It's a side console and it's honestly the perfect boat. It's like, it's got the casting deck. It's a nice open concept. But when we use it in the spring and fall for trolling, it's super cold. You can see the second person sits there and it's completely exposed to the wind. We took it up to the Rangeley area last year and it rained the whole time. I didn't have the bimini or anything, so we were just sitting there in rain jackets all weekend. It kind of sucked, but it was alright. So immediately after that trip, I bought the bimini top and installed that. So that doesn't stay on there all the time. I just use it if it's crappy weather. I built some sides that kind of Velcro. I'll probably show them at some point, but I sewed some Velcro up along here and bought some clear vinyl that Velcros to that, goes down and kind of sits against this framework and Velcros here and there. So you got a little bit of side protection. And I built one piece that would Velcro and go all the way across the front, but I really don't think it's going to hold up. What I really want to do is build a full windshield for this thing that's removable. I don't want to leave it on there all the time because I like being able to have the casting deck and all the freedom to move about the boat. But in the early spring, like ice out and fall, it will be awesome because we don't really use the casting deck very much and we can have the full windshield and protection from the wind and maybe stay out a little bit longer in the elements. So I would really like to make this out of aluminum, but I don't have the ability to weld aluminum right now and I'm not going to spend the money to do that. So I wanted to basically make, and I'll see if I can throw a diagram up here to show you guys what I was thinking, and then we'll kind of see how it turns out at the end if I ever get it finished. I want to have 2 windshields and then in the center a small pass-through door so we can slug it up to the front if we have to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really exactly know how this is going to go together just yet. I'm kind of like winging it and fabricating it as I go along, and I am not a very skilled welder, so my welds look horrible, and I've welded up a bunch of different things before. Pretty crafty guy, so I'll just figure it out as I go. I don't know. Just hang around, stick with me. We'll see what we can make. So the frame is pretty much done. That's going to be the door in the middle there. These are the 2 windows. But I think the next step is I'm going to put a couple braces, just like flat bar across here, so we can hook the plywood and the plexiglass to it when we get ready. And then I'm also going to put a few tabs in around through here. And probably 1 flat bar across the middle where the plexiglass is going to start and stop, so that'll give it a little bit of structure there. But we'll do that and then we'll basically be ready to get the pieces to put it together. Alright guys, so we're around in the corner here, almost done with this thing. I should have taken a video of it just a minute ago. I had it sitting on the boat and it looked really pretty good, so I had to make a bunch of modifications to it already. Had to add this little tab because I had to add this little tab on the foot here so we can mount it to the boat because this leg kind of kicked in. What I ended up noticing was that, because I was just kind of winging this, I wasn't really measuring a lot and like being really precise with it, because I was just kind of trying to fit it to the boat. So when I got it all together, I looked at it and this side was way out compared to this one, and I measured the top length here. It was out like 3 inches, so what I first did was, stupidly, I cut it right here and was thinking I could bend it, cut a little piece out, bend it, and then weld that together. But as soon as I cut it, I was like, wow, why did I do that? Because when you pull that in, that just dips down. So I welded that back together. And what I ended up doing was cutting here, which is what I should have done, and then cutting you know, like 2 or 3 inches off, and then moving this over and re-welding it. So, and I basically just welded up some hinges. I wanted to make the door removable, so when I'm trailering it, I can take the door off and there's not a lot of resistance on this. But so these pins, they just pop right out, and then the door can come right off. So I don't know, that was just a simple idea I had, although it was a huge pain in the ass trying to fit all that, but I got it. So there it is. I put these little stops in here for the door to rest on. I finished putting all the tabs for all the windows that they're going to hook on, and now the last thing I need to do with the frame itself, like, you know, building it and stuff, is drill all these holes. Got all the holes drilled. Now all I gotta do is do a little bit of grinding on this before we can paint it. Alright guys, so now we're gonna get ready to paint this thing. I'm gonna do 1 coat of the Rust-Oleum self-etching primer. I always use this on my welding jobs like this, just because it helps the paint really adhere to that metal. So let's go spray this thing down. Alright, so the self-etching primer is dried. It's been a day. And now we're gonna paint it with the actual color of the frame. So I chose another Rust-Oleum product. It's just the gloss green, Dark Hunter green it's called. I bought 2 cans of this. Took about a can to do all of the priming. So I'm gonna try to do 2 coats of this for the whole thing and give it a good layer of protection. Probably not the best thing to spray paint in the wind, but I had to get it done. Alright, so she's all painted up, got a couple coats on her now. And what I'm going to do is now make a template for the plywood that we're going to put on the bottom. So I've just taken some cardboard, I've cut out some pieces, and this is the plywood that I'm going to use. It's 1/4 inch hardwood plywood, and it's for like cabinet making and stuff. It's fairly rugged for 1/4 inch, so it should hold up just fine. And this is the piece that I made, and I'm just going to trace it out and cut it out. Alright, we got all the pieces cut out. It's not bolted up yet, but I'm going to drill some holes in these, then paint them, and then we'll bolt them on. And then we're just waiting for the plexiglass to show up for the last little bit there. And I am going to make, I'll have to put this back on the boat, a little door here, because my gas fill up is right in here somewhere, so we're going to have to cut that out, and I got a little idea for that. So one thing I did do that I didn't show in the video was I glued these rubber spacers to the bottom of the feet so they won't scratch up my my boat at all when it's mounted on there. I don't know how well they're gonna hold up. I just used construction adhesive and glued it on there, and all that is just a piece of this right here. It's a tractor trailer mud flap, pretty thin. I don't know what the thickness is, but you could use something like this, like the horse stall mat material, anything like that, just to keep it from grinding your paint off. I pre-drilled all the holes, so we're all set with that. I cut out where my gas fill up is, and I got a little door here with a little hinge and stuff. I'll show you that once we get it all together, but we're going to paint it same color that we did the frame. This Rust-Oleum forest green, oil based. Hopefully you seal that up nice. And then I got one more thing I got to do to that frame on that I kind of forgot, so we got to grind it and weld a couple little tabs on there for the front piece. So get it on. Just going to slop it on here. Alright, so the pieces are all dried. We did both sides. Oh, never mind. So I lied. They weren't dry. These 3 are pretty much dry. This one was not. I really slapped the paint on that second coat there to really get the outside of that wood really sealed up nice and waterproof. So as you can see now, we got those tabs along the bottom, and that's basically what I'm going to hook my piece that goes from the bottom down to the floor of the boat. And what I'm going to actually use is that PVC trim board over there, and I'm going to cut it to fit, and we're just going to bolt it right on right here. That's what I did there. That's all dry, ready to go. That is the frame complete, and I should have the plexiglass and just actually it should be here tomorrow. Alright, boys and girls, exciting day today. We got the Lexan. This is the moment that I've been waiting for, because it's the most nerve-wracking for me. Lexan is not cheap, and I don't want to mess this up, and I was kind of nervous about how I'm going to cut it and drill it and all this stuff without breaking it, but I think I'm going to be okay. This stuff's pretty rugged compared to plexiglass. So I ordered this stuff from this company called E Street Plastics. Not at all sponsoring this video or anything like that. They had pretty good prices on this stuff. The shipping took quite a while, only because of the coronavirus stuff going on. A lot of people are ordering this stuff for like sneeze guards and stuff, so it took 2 weeks. It took a week before they shipped it, and then another week or so before I got it, so it's been a few weeks since I ordered it, but it's here, and I've ordered basically just enough to do this project, so I'm just hoping I don't mess something up on this, but I'm sure I will, because that's what usually happens. But here it is. And I'm glad they sent this in cardboard. I was hoping that they would, because I need some big pieces of cardboard to make the template for the big windows. I'm just going to run it. I set my drill about half speed, because you don't want to go too fast with this stuff, and what will happen is you'll kind of cut it and then it'll melt behind and kind of like fuse itself back together. I also have a metal blade on here, so it's not grabbing really hard, and I'm just going to take it easy, follow my line nice and easy, and then yeah, hopefully she stays in one piece. But I got 1/4 inch. It's really thick, and this stuff is like indestructible anyway. So let me just cut this piece and see how it goes. Alright, so I got all the holes drilled in this thing now, and the other thing that I picked up was a couple different thicknesses of rubber washers. I ordered these on eBay. They all have a 1/4 inch hole, which is the size of the bolts that I'm using, but they're all a little bit different thicknesses, because you know, I wasn't too dead on precise with some of these tabs I welded on, so there's going to be gaps here and there. So we'll just fill it in with the rubber washer, and try not to get it really tight so we don't crack anything, but just kind of snug it up there. So sick, dude. Now, I don't know if this is really the right way, if I should have another rubber washer on the outside of this. It would probably help, but I'm not going to, just because I'm not. So dang, so clear you can't even tell it's on there. Nice and sturdy. So, well, I'm not going to show you guys the rest of the boringness. I'm going to just kind of put everything together, and when I run into an issue, we'll pull the camera back out, because I know it's probably going to happen. Alright, Lexan's on. You can kind of see it there with the light up above kind of shining off of there, but we got the sides all done. The door was a pain. It was the worst part to do, but these parts are really easy. We just took some of that cardboard, laid it on there, traced the back side of it, manipulated it a little bit, cut it out, made sure it fit, and then traced my cardboard cutouts onto the Lexan. So it looks pretty good. I'll kind of show you what I did with the door here. We got a little latch system, so we can just open that, and the door opens right up to the outside. Last step we have to do, we're going to toss this thing on the boat. And then I just got to build the bottom piece that goes from the bottom down to the floor of the boat out of this PVC board right here. So toss that on, we'll cut that, and then we should be done. I wanted to show you guys real quick. This is the Lexan that I used. It's the 1/4 inch. I think I actually could have gone thinner and made it a little bit lighter weight, but this stuff's pretty thick and super durable. I wanted to show you guys this. Didn't break. Plexiglass would have snapped instantly. Alright, so I got that white piece all cut out. Kind of hard to figure out all the angles and stuff that I wanted to make it so I could get it nice and tight, but it's on there. It's not bolted yet. I'm gonna bolt it to these tabs in a little bit here, and then I put a little opening right here only because I want to be able to stick my rod tips through there. I have some really long rods here, and you can see I want to have the tips go up in there so I don't have to break them down when I travel. So yep, I think I might have enough wrap material left over from when we did the boat here that I might be able to cover this with a wrap. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm gonna go look. Alright, so there it is. I don't know, what do you guys think? Does it look ridiculous? Honestly, don't care too much what it looks like, because as long as it's functional and everything, it's fine with me. Take a good look at it, because it's never going to be this clean again, probably. I don't know, I think it's going to work pretty good. The other thing that I did, that I told you guys, I think, was I put these eye hooks in here. There was a bolt going through that just hooked the plywood to this tab. Put an eye hook there, just so I can run my, I may run my drift socks off from that, so it's about midway on the boat. But yeah, there it is. You can check out the gas door here. Let me reach in here and let me just reach in here, unlock it, boom, fill it up. I had to chop down the passenger seat because for some reason they made it like, I don't know, 6 inches taller than the driver's seat. So it was always really high up, and being that high, the person's head would have been way over the windshield. So I chopped it down so when I sit in the seat, windshield is about right at the top of my head. So I am typically driving, and whoever is my co-pilot is usually a lot shorter than me. I'm about 6'1", 6'2", so I'm gonna go sit in both seats just so you can see the height there. It's perfect behind the driver's seat here. I mean, you could, my bimini is gonna be up a little bit higher, so their head will be protected. I think it turned out better than I was imagining. I know it does look a little bit, obviously it doesn't look stock, it's definitely a fabricated redneck build, but I think it's going to be very functional. And obviously I don't know how this is going to hold up, but one thing I will add is that I've heard a lot that the Lexan and plexiglass over time with a UV, it kind of breaks down the sunlight here and there and gets yellowed and all that stuff. But my boat basically stays in this garage when I'm not using it. I might stay out for a day or two if it's at a dock somewhere, but I'm only going to have this on the boat probably a couple months out of the year when it's really chilly out, or you know, really raining and I want to get out with the boat. So if I was going to have this boat, say like at my camp or at, you know, docked all the time at some marina or something, I wouldn't have done this build probably. I would have just had somebody make a full enclosure, you know, integrate the bimini top and make sides and a door and in the front and all that stuff and make a really nice top. But that would have probably run me, you know, $1,500, maybe even more. I don't know, 2,000, I'm not sure. So with this, I spent about $175 or $180 on just the Lexan. That was the most expensive part, and that was the shipping on it was like $50. So you might be able to get it cheaper at like a local place if you pick it up. But the metal was about another 100 or so. So there's about 300, and then, you know, the plywood and the paint and all that stuff. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you guys out in the water when we start using this thing. Before I send you guys off completely, I just put the camera away and I was working on the bimini top here. That's what I came up with. Actually is awesome. It used to be straight, so it was higher than the windshield, so I chopped off the legs a little bit. And I wanted to better rugged mounting hardware because what was on there was plastic, so I had bought this already. So I chopped a few inches off, lowered that down, drilled out the rivet in here, slid that down, tipped it all forward so it's right close to the windshield, and now we have somewhat of an enclosure. And I'm gonna, later on, I'll see if my vinyl, clear vinyl sides fit there. I'm gonna have to trim those up a little bit, but other than that, this thing is ready to go. We're not gonna get wet this season, I can tell you what.